So here we are, punters, a very different episode of Tipster. We are coming from our own homes here in lockdown in New South Wales. And Mick, how are we going there, mate?
Mate, going well. Living the dream over here.
Where's the spotlight there, mate? Looks like a lounge room or something like that?
Yeah, I've had to get away from the kids. They're upstairs making a dead set racket. So in the sitting in the dinner table.
The dinner table.
And I've eaten my dinner, so I'm good to go.
He's eaten the dinner. Put the camera on and we're off and racing. Well, here we are, Mick. Obviously, last episode was in July. As we go through winter, we're going one by month, and obviously coming into spring, we're doing this every week. Our first episode in lockdown, so new ground for both of us. What have you been doing in lockdown, Mike? I can probably guess what's been taking up most of your time.
Yeah, a bit of golf, fair bit of golf, and a heap of punting. And then, of course, homeschooling and kids, but a bit of math work for the kids.
Excellent. Well, punters, we've got a great episode for you. I'm just going to take you through it very quickly. Obviously, the show where you find out whose horse racing tips have been flying. So we're going to start off this month, I should say, with Tipster of the month for July. See who's firing there. Some usual suspects and some newies. Tipster in focus. Mick, who is it?
Sultan of Sydney. So I had a chat with him during the week. Awesome chat. Mate, good bloke, good looking bloke. We touched on that there as well. Can tip a winner, can write a poem, and is just killing it. So it was good to catch up with him and hear how he does it.
We'll look forward to that. And hey, we've got a competition. It's the punter's wardrobe, but this time it must go off. So we've come up with a way you can get involved where it must go off, right?
Beautiful.
And
I'll look forward to that.
Look forward to that. And hey, here's a big one. We've got Mick Gannon's spring watch list. So he's basically trawled through last spring's data, who's sort of on fire at the moment or doing well, and basically come up with the spring watch list, the top 5 tipsters of Mick's, who you've got to keep your eye on. All that coming up.
There's some controversy in that as well, just quietly, but we'll get to that.
Absolutely. Don't forget, as always, watching this on YouTube, the button below, subscribe. On Twitter, like it. Post what you think. Post your comments, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, of course.
Beautiful. Get around it.
So it's that time where we look back at last month, July. Tough one because it's winter. Not always, obviously not the quality horses around. Form can be a bit hard to line up. But here's the leaderboard, Mick. We've got actually the top 3 place getters there. Samuel 2, JustWins and Ochiltwig. So Samuel 2 does most of his tipping in Tassie. So that's not a bad resource there because what do you reckon? I mean, not many punters got their head around the old Hobart and Launceston track.
I think it's a bit of upside there for the followers there.
Absolutely. Someone to keep in mind. Samuel 2, just search it on the site. He'll come up, follow him, back him, hot bet him, do whatever you want to do to follow his tips. JustWins, Mick. I mean, a third time he's appeared. Weeks 4, week 6, and here he is again in week 11. I have to think that means he probably knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, he's red hot, mate, and features in the Saturday Free Best Bets article as well. So definitely worth checking that one out.
Yeah, it goes well. And Ochiltwig, as we said, has been here before. He appeared in week 2, so certainly going well. We've got Brad Davies there from the News Racing team, and he's won in 5th place. Ben Beare, Mick. I mean, trial watcher. I want to say a few words about Ben.
Mate, yeah, look, Ben's been at it for a long time now. He's been contributing to the Great Tip-Off for a long time. In regards to articles, but he's big on the trials. He likes to find, winners, tend to be from mostly trials or second or third up, off a barrier trial. But the best thing about Ben's tips is he generally finds a lot of value. So, if you're a punter that wants to get on early and get some of that value, he's finding things at, $6, $7, $8 that end up starting, top tote around that 240, 250, 260 mark. It happens regularly. It's no fluke. So, he's someone you obviously want to get on early when you get his stuff. But, he's going really well. And he's sort of, he was actually really close to making that top 5 of tipsters to follow. Probably only reason why I didn't have him in this time around is because it's more about that trial-based stuff. And as we get into the spring, we're probably looking for some different sort of material there, with some, horses reaching their peak as opposed to, being ready to go first up. But his stuff is fantastic, and he's really coming into his own late. So if there's someone you want to follow, you're looking for, to bet every day as well, Ben Beare's your man.
Yeah, no, good call. So watch out for these 5 coming in the spring. They're doing good stuff in July. Certainly know what they're on about. Brad Davies, their free horse racing tips. The other guys, you can hot bet them, or you can buy their tip packages.
Get around them.
So, Mike, our tipster in focus this week is something special. The Sultan of Sydney. Now, look, if you're on Twitter, you've heard of this guy. I doubt you haven't. Look, we started tracking Salts about a year ago now, probably just a bit under, just as spring was coming in. And just flashing up here, his 365-day profit on turnover since then is 7% pot. Remembering that starting price, and I think Salts is definitely someone who you're definitely going to get better on, even on an average fixed price. So just underlines how good this guy is. Mick, tell us a bit about the chat you're about to have.
Mate, we covered everything. We covered everything from Punters Club mates through to how he finds winners, to the alcohol the punters should be sending him after a fill-up, and much, much more. So why don't we hear about it a bit more from it now?
Let's go.
All right, so today I'm lucky enough to go one-on-one with the one and only Sultan of Sydney. Thanks for joining us, mate.
Yeah, good to be here. Looking forward to having a chat, Mick.
Good stuff, mate. So, look, you're taking Twitter by storm and probably become one of the most popular punters, I guess, on Twitter, mate. How have you found that journey?
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. It was a few years ago now that I started up the Twitter, and I sort of did it because I had a bit of time on my hands with some injuries and stuff. And then, like, I flicked it through to a few of my mates, like, check this out, boys, started up a Twitter and had a laugh and was just putting some tips on there. But, yeah, it's definitely, in terms of my punting, the best thing I've ever done, because, like, I've learned a lot. There's a lot of good people on Twitter, as you'd know, and I've learned a lot about punting and horse racing since joining up. And, if I look back now to my approach now to when I joined Twitter, it's been invaluable, really. So, yeah, it's been a great experience, and we got some good people on there with some good banter, which is always good. So, yeah, I really enjoy getting on there and tipping on there, Matt.
It's fantastic. And do you reckon, like, the fact that you're on there putting tips on there, holding yourself accountable from those early days has held you in good stead as well?
Yeah, that's one of the things, is accountability, because, yeah, sort of the way I look at it is, like, you're telling people where to put their money, essentially. So you're accountable for other people, which makes you, like, more than accountable for yourself as well. And, you're not having those stupid side bets and, 10 or 20 here or there, like
the other states. But give us an understanding of sort of how the last 12 months have gone with the race club.
Yeah, it's really good. I've enjoyed going on board and working there, and have learned a lot again since joining there, and speaking to the guys that work there. And Adam, who runs a lot of the stuff, has acted as a bit of a mentor for me. So I've certainly improved since coming on board. I do the Sydney Metro stuff Wednesday, Saturday there, and just one side meet. Whatever I choose, really, whatever I want.
Look, you're basically the Twitter's version of Tony Brassel, mate. You cover that many meetings across the country, and that's a pretty big rap, because old Brasco's pretty good. But, mate, how do you find the time to do that much form? And secondly, mate, what is it? The Prince of Mildura or something like that? You got a name for nearly every track down there.
No, I've got a name for every track that I sort of come up with. But yeah, thank you for the compliment, Brass. I'd like to think that I've got a little bit more tone in my voice than Brass, but he is a good expert. He's got a great eye, that's for sure. In terms of time, I'm not sure. I probably don't want to add up how much time I spend a week, because it would probably be some sort of sick amount, but I do spend a man of time on it. Like, I've always been keen on Sydney racing and Victorian racing. I'm Victorian, and I like South Australian racing as well. But like in terms of the other stuff, like I use the GTX database, and that sort of helps you assess races countrywide quite quickly. Like I find like those extra meets, I can sort of flick through them quite efficiently with that database and not have to spend too much time on those sort of side meets. If I'm looking at a meet like where I'm not going to look at the whole meet in depth sort of thing, it can be as simple as just flicking through the ratings and finding an anomaly in the market.
Yeah.
And investigating it and seeing it.
Quick little 60 seconds results. I've got no idea if it's going to take 60 seconds or not, but we'll give it a shot anyway. You ready to go?
Absolutely.
All right. Age when you placed your first bet?
Remember I backed zipping in I think it was my last year of high school, the 2006 Melbourne Cup, so it would have been 17.
Oh, wow, I like that.
Yeah.
Mate, favourite track to bet?
Flemington. God's gift to horse racing.
Place betting, yes or no?
Yes. No hard or fast rule, but to be honest, I should actually probably place bet more because my place bet results are quite good. So yes, to place betting.
Cox Plate or Melbourne Cup?
Melbourne Cup. It's got an aura about it, and like we get a public holiday for it down here. So
Everest or Slipper?
I'll say Everest for the cash money.
As you do.
Yeah.
What jockey are you choosing to put your last dollar on, mate?
Jamie Carr. Might be a bit of recency bias, but I just love the way she rides, so balanced and composed, and usually they get their chance, so you can't ask more than that.
All right, here's one for you. Best bet starts to drift. Are you doubling down or are you getting nervous?
100% every single time you go again.
Love that.
The drift is someone else's opinion versus your opinion. So if you're strong on your opinion, then you should just be thankful that you're going to get a better price. There
you go, punters. If there's one gold nugget you can take away from today, that's it, I reckon. Just give us a quick rundown of where punters can catch your tips and how they do it.
Yep. So all on Twitter for most of the country, and then the stuff for Sydney Metro and one New South Wales provincial meet. So 3 meets for Sydney per week for the raceclub.com.au.
So, Mike, the tip comp's back, but this time we will give this prize away. We haven't given it away the last 2 times we've run it, and the guys at Punters Wardrobe are really keen. This time, mate, they've thrown in not only a Pikey shirt, but also a Pikey Sloppy Joe, I should say, or hoodie, or whatever you want to call it.
Hoodie, mate.
The hoodie.
Mate, it's a hoodie.
Of course, it's in my wardrobe, so I should know about that.
What's doing there? Sloppy Joe.
Around the
Isn't that your order from the hot chip shop or something? Sloppy Joe.
That's the one. But we've also got a Jamie Carr, so back car shout the bar T-shirt. So what they're going to do, Mike? Do you want me to explain this one?
Yeah, mate. You go for it.
Okay, so Caulfield quaddie legs races 6 to 9. We just want one number, your winner. So not multiple legs, one in each race. Now, obviously, if you get all 4, you're probably going to win. We'll go on a count back to 3, 2, and 1. If 2 people have got 3 or 2 people have got 2, we're going to look at the win return. If that we can't split them, we'll go to the place return on their other selections, and we should split them. If not, look, we'll throw the money ourselves, and everyone gets one if there's a tie. I'm happy to commit to that. So remember, you've got to put your post. You've got to.
Jeez, I hope there's 4 favourites get up here. This is fantastic. 455 jumpers you got to buy.
Let's explain
Sloppy Joes.
Races 6, 7, 8, and 9. It's got to be your number 1-3-5-6 on this post. If it's Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube, put it underneath, put your post, 1 entry per person. All right, we're going to be making sure that's the case. All right, so Punters Wardrobe, you just saw it on the screen. Get involved.
Yeah, it's good gear. Get to the site and check it out. It's awesome.
So, Mike, of course, we're coming into spring, and what a great time to reflect on who killed it last spring, but also to see who's got the momentum coming into this spring. So you want to tell us a bit about how you put this list together, Mike?
Yeah, well, I've had a bit of time on my hands, so sat back and thought I'd come up, come up with a bit of a segment and something that could help the punters out there of who to follow. And basically, just came up with the top 5 punters to follow throughout the Spring Carnival. So there's a good mixture there of guys who performed throughout last spring, the guys that are sort of on the rise now, and a few people that I'm happy to put my hard-earned behind as well.
Okay, great. Well, let's go through them. Just looking at them here on the screen, we've got Dean Watling. Tell us, Dean Watling here. Key thing here, last 90 days, 33% pot. So 90 days is a nice term because it certainly shows that it's not just a little whim. There's certainly something going on there. And especially like this, a strike rate of over 1 in 3. So certainly firing there. Tell us a bit more about Dean.
Yes, so look, Dino's number 5 on that top 5. So sorry, Dino, you didn't quite sneak in there as number 1, 2, 3, or 4, but I did get you a case of beer. So thanks, mate. That got you in the top 5, mate. Look, Dino's not only is he a great sparky and awesome fullback, but he's an even better tipper and a top bloke to boot. But mate, look, Dean's really starting to hit his straps. From what I've seen lately, he's putting in the hard yards. I speak to him, probably once every couple of weeks. He's doing the work. He's working hard. He's putting in the hard yards, and his results are really starting to show. Most importantly, like who cares if you're doing the hard work if you don't get the results? But his results are really starting to come through. And throughout the Sydney Spring, he's a guy you want to follow, and he can find a winner midweek as well. So yeah, Dean Watling, he's your man. Anyone that's sort of betting Sydney and Sydney Metro, I like his stuff.
Yeah, great. Here's a name we see a fair bit. I think he was our first tipster in focus, Josh Reed. Now, yeah. Josh, last spring, 9% pot. Now, a lot of punters will look at 9% and say, "Oh, that doesn't sound so big." For the amount of tips that Josh is putting into the site, it's an outstanding number. In fact, you're doing 3 or 4%, you're doing outstanding. So 9% is a great number. Last 90 days, 19% pot. And over that period, striking at about 29%. I think the thing I like there, Mike, is we're seeing good last spring combined with good last 90 days. And I would say overall for Josh in 2021, really seeing a sort of a rise in consistency and form.
Yeah, look, Josh has really probably had the ultimate gear change of some description here. He's good. Let's not make it a girling operation or anything like that. But look, whatever he's doing with his form, and I do know he's changed things up a bit. He did mention he's working with some programs and doing some things there, and I think that's really sharpened him up. He's got a bit better focus on knowing what he's looking for. He's got a bit of guidance there with some ratings as well, and I think it probably just eliminates a couple of the emotional attachments you might get to horses, so eliminates those or in turn justifies those, which just kind of blinkers on, keeps you very focused. But I think it also, as it came through the interview we have with Sultan, it keeps you a bit more consistent. So those elements are really helping Josh. And look, another great bloke to boot, lovely young man up in Newcastle, can find a winner up there. But I think more importantly, and he's number 4, right? So he's 4th on our list. But he's another guy that's hitting his straps, and if he keeps going on the rise he's going, he's going to find himself doing extremely well, not just this spring, but moving forward. And let's be honest, he's been on Twitter and he's done what Salts is doing, and he's fighting the good fight on there because there's plenty of barbs being thrown around on there, but he's still putting his tips out, and we love to see tries. And most importantly, he's always accountable. His tips are in the system, and they're there for everyone to see. So good on you, Joshy.
Good on you, Josh, and resilient, and not only that, improving. That's what I think I like. Someone you see that. He's a guy who really is smashing it. I mean, he is literally white hot. Kobe O'Brien, last 90 days, 24% pot. But when you look at the sort of volume of tips he's putting in, the cash profit is quite significant if you're following him. And the great thing here, the punters love, is that 645 average price. So he really is a punter's favourite, Kobe O'Brien. Anything to add to that, Mike?
Mate, number 3 on the list. He's really moving up there. Puts in 1,000 tips a week. It feels like, maybe obviously not quite that many, but if you're the kind of punter that sits home on a Saturday and you like betting race to race, which look, there's a hell of a lot of us out there. I'm sick for a bit of that on the side as well. Kobe O'Brien's your man. Okay, so he's giving tips in a lot of races, but the average price is huge. But look, he's up in Queensland, I think, Kobe, so he's living the dream up there in the sun, and obviously the vitamin D's doing very well for him. So keep it up, mate, and hopefully we get you into that spot there, mate. Let me just, if you don't mind taking over from here, I just want to make sure that we keep a bit of suspense as to who's coming up in number 2. One of the greatest tipsters of all time.
Yeah, absolutely. The GOAT, as they call it.
Here we go. Number 2, Dean Lester.
There we go. There we go. Drum roll and all. Yeah, look, what do you say? Dean Lester, last spring 8% pot. Strike rate of 21% on 292 tips, average price $5.19. Look, I just want to say one quick thing, Mike, before you roll in here. I mean, privy to seeing Dean's premium package, which he puts out on a Saturday. It's the ultimate punter's guide if you're looking for something to follow. People talk about speed maps, but Dean's speed maps aren't just about sectionals and where horses are going to sit. His intimate knowledge about all the tracks, especially in Metro and obviously provincial and country Victoria, and also jockeys' strengths and weaknesses. He bundles all that up into just the most, I would say, dynamic speed map product that is available on the market. And that's no, issue with the product out there, because there's plenty of special product. But Dino, I think it's when you see that sort of stuff, you appreciate how good this guy is.
It's unbelievable, mate. Like, I buy that package during the spring, and just to really, check those speed maps out, check those runner comments out, really get understanding, also get his staking as well, which is fantastic. It's brilliant to hear his stuff on the radio, but the reality is, we're getting the basically the deep dive information from that stuff. But look, more on Dino, mate. He's the best. He's one of the best you've ever seen, and you only have to ask anyone that's been in the racing industry, young or old. Dean Lester, Salt mentioned before, Dean Lester would be part of his punters, his punters club. He would be first chosen. It's like being back at school, mate. You played Randy's, the first bloke you want off the wall. Lester's the first bloke you want your punters party. Yeah, so you go Lester, and then you go the mate that buys the beer, and you're away.
And drum roll, mate. Number 1 is?
Mate, none other than Salts.
The Salt.
Mate, love your work.
Sultan, the
You made it all the way to the top, son.
Yeah, he's going well and goes well. Last spring, just on 6% pot there. And look, here's the last 365 days, 7% pot, and that is on an absolute avalanche of tips. I mean, every day he's putting tips in. And look, you've got to watch this interview with him. It's just so learn a hell of a lot just watching it. Quality stuff. Mike, did you want to add to that?
Mate, look, I think, his stats, you look at 365 days and you think 7% profit on turnover, and you're like, oh, mate, he made 2 small winners. Like, give it a spell. Like, that is phenomenal effort. And as we know, right, he'll put things out there at $21, I think, last Saturday, as an example. It'll start 12s. He does it often, something out at 7s. He's actually probably the first guy on Twitter that doesn't have a media presence that's actually starting to move early markets that I've seen. A few blokes reckon they do. I reckon I have once or twice, but I'm kidding myself. But Salt's actually, I've seen it 3 or 4 times now. He's actually the amount of money. Obviously, Davo, you get a bit of that with Davo as well, because he's got 45 million people chiming in after him with their $5. But Salt's loyal fans, they're chiming in. The bookies are feeling it.
Yeah, no, he's quality, mate. That's for sure. It's probably why he goes by the name of the Sultan of Sydney. He doesn't want to give the name away.
Sultan of Sydney residing Melbourne. Anyway, we won't leave that alone. But
yeah, bookies put him on that other list. Look, that's
using
great.
a VPN.
Yeah, absolutely. So here are the 5 on Mike's watch list. By all means, this doesn't mean the only 5 to watch. Go to the site.
Oh God, no.
Check the leaderboard. You'll love the tip market now. We've got some extra new stuff to make it really easy to find your favourite tipster. All the stats are there since 2009. There isn't another site, I would say, look, at least in Australia anyhow, let's just keep it within our domain, that has such a comprehensive number of tipsters and also the stats on them. Every tip, best bet, you can cut the numbers every way. A great resource for spring. So there we go, Mike. Our first show in lockdown. We're going to have to improve the backgrounds. I think we haven't been able to get the banners out of here from the office, but we'll have to get someone to do that runner for us. But certainly it's been enjoyable seeing the clock behind you there, mate, just to make sure we run on time.
Always on time, mate.
There we go. Great wraps and great racing. It all starts, doesn't it? We can smell spring in the air. It's exciting. Hopefully we can get to a race or two by the end of spring. Mike, I just want to have my Hero of the Week segment. There was a classic that we saw actually on Twitter. Let's just Dad's had a bit of a better race for, I think it was at Flemington on the weekend. He's obviously told the kids, who you on, Dad? He's told them, and got to watch the little fella here in red.
Keep cheering, keep watching.
What do you reckon? You got a few kids, mate. Does that look familiar?
Oh, well, that's how I behave when my horse gets done. So,
well, you're the little kid in the red, are you?
Yeah. My kids couldn't care less. That's what I know what's for dinner.
He can read a race at that young age. I mean, he probably it was probably definitely gone at the 200, but he still called it.
No, he's done well.
He's done well. So it's Mick's moral time. Mick, what are we looking out for?
We're heading south. We're going to Kembla, which is the Sydney Metro, and we're heading to race 3. The Cummings train Zygerfeld steps up to 2,000, but gets back on the dry, gets J-Mac around about the $3, maybe $2.90, still available. Might be scraping the barrel at 280 there, but I think anything above that 260 is still solid. I think it's the best horse in the race by a long way. He's dropped in grade and should get pretty handy to the lead, if not lead, and probably lead a merry dance.
Nice. Very good. Well, there it is. So that brings us to the conclusion. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Also to follow our Facebook, our Twitter pages, because you'll see the videos there as well, or the episodes of Tipster. Look out as we get into spring. We're going to be more regular on the program. Hopefully we get out of lockdown soon. We're back in the studio. This is normally in a studio, but for obvious reasons, we can't do that. So without any further ado, Mike, good punting on the weekend. Look at you. I'd say you're locked down. You'll be punting on Saturday.
Punt every day, mate.
Punting every day. I certainly will. I tell you, it's about the only. I watched your interview, obviously, with Sultan. He rightly said it's about the only thing you do, and if you didn't punt, geez, it'd be boring. So with that note, we'll leave you at the guys and girls, and have a great punt, and we'll see you next in a couple of weeks' time, actually.
Fantastic. Look forward to it. Thanks, mate.